Like most of the others, it doesn't generate actions in and of itself. It's more a sort of diagnostic tool. It's a way of checking the sort of ideas you've come up with already around those key questions of value that I talked about at the beginning. What is my product? Who is my customer? What is the value my customer is deriving, seeing, consuming in my product? You know? So it's a way of checking those questions. Am I really onto something by focusing on this showing? Am I really onto something by really privileging this product or this activity, this service? So it starts on page 9. And this is the first question it asks. We're going to look at our business as a whole through 4 lenses. And I talked already a little bit about the difference between revenue and profitability. Just to repeat that so that we make it very clear what the difference is. Revenue is what will keep you afloat. Revenue is the amount of money coming through the till. Revenue is what you pay attention to when you're managing cash flow. I might have mentioned cash flow to you already. Let me mention it again. Cash flow is the amount of money in the bank at the end of the month relative to the bills you've got to pay. So $100 in the bank, $99 worth of bills, you're in business. $100 in the bank, $101 worth of bills, you're out of business. Okay? Revenue provides that cash flow. It keeps that number in the black and above the line and you in business. You know? It's not the same as profitability. Cash flow is simply the number of units you shift, the number of dollars you sell, the amount of volume going through your business. Profitability is how much of that, relatively speaking, is yours after costs. Costs of production, costs of marketing, costs of manufacture, costs of distribution, etc. What is the margin? So there are 2 different ways of looking at your business. You can actually, and this question asks you, this first question is, what's more important to your business right now? Revenue or profitability? Cash flow or profitability? Now, if I was a migrant, recently arrived migrant at the bugger, to sit in my pants with a big family that could work for me in my fruit shop, I would say revenue. Revenue simply turnover for the reason I gave before in the example. You know, the business absolutely needs turnover. If I don't have that turnover, I don't have the money to go down and buy the products for the next day of trading and etc. Other businesses, like service businesses like mine, well, revenue is sort of going to be always capped because it's like how many working hours are there in a week, you know. Profitability is probably more important in my business. So I want to make fewer sales, probably, but more profitable ones right now. Do you see the difference? Because I'm going to ask you, this tool will ask you, what's more important to you now, sales or profit? Right now, just right now. Might be different next week, next month, next year, but right now. Similarly, these 2 things. So I'm going to ask you for a scale a scale from 4 most important down to 1 least important of these. Efficiency of production and delivery. That means how important is it to you to keep the costs of production down, the costs of marketing down, the cost of generally getting your product to your customer, the cost of your own professional development, your own training, your own tools, your own plant, keeping those costs down, because that's typically the way we drive profit, right? Either by charging more or dropping costs. So that will include marketing. And that's worth thinking about, because very often if you're new in a marketplace, then the lack of recognition might be more important to you than the actual sales and profit that you're making right now, because you've got a bit of part-time income coming in or whatever, and the money thing is not so important as actually getting your brand out there. Similarly, how much competition? Is that important to you? This will be important to some extent in this industry. It's a very competitive industry, a lot of players, big players, medium and little players out there against you. So relative to those others, relative to the other 3, what is most important for you in your business right now? And you score that one a 4, down to 1, what is least important, relative to the others. They're all important. Sometimes people don't like, as I say, creatives don't like the word competition. And there's no reason you can't put in your own artists will say that, right? If there's no sense of passion and purpose and meaning for me personally, there's no point in anything else, you know? And that's not my point of view, but that's a point of view, you know? So if that's important to you, then drop one of these and put that in. Yeah? This is just what experience has told us is important for small business. So go to that point, and when everybody's ready, we'll go to the next step. I want to go stepwise through this because it's easy to get